¿No?
Grabando.
Anfitrión.
Welcome
Grabando,
everyone.
grabando.
Hi Martin. Hi everyone. Hi Thomas. Thomas, how are you?
Good. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have
I
you.
really appreciate the invitation. Very. So yes.
So tell us, what do you want to show us for a start?
Well, I would like to show you this garden of Dankwar Fricke. I found, because it's a sort of a narrative I did with these pages I found. So I didn't know what to do with them, and I started to see many rusty things like that door, no? And then I start to imagine like a secret garden of this guy that was a Dankwar Fricke, and that he probably passed away or something like that. I wanted to come into the garden of him, and then I discovered he was a florist. And yes, that. But then with this rusty thing, I did I transferred the rusty thing into these pages. That's why that stains from these rusty things. And that's why I'm very interested in the relation between organic and inorganic things in my work. So I had it the inorganic, and now I wanted the organic. So then I start to look at the flowers. So I collect one flower and then press them, and I write with the typewriter the name of the flower. All in my imagination. Then I start to put this buzzing insects sound. Because I want to create the organic and this contrast between life and no life, or in some way how the thing die in oblivion, like very rusty and things like that. So that was my purpose, and in a way is like these last years I've been investigating. I have not investigating really, but I have curiosity about this, how the time affects the things in nature, and how we produce this. For example, I go to the forest, all the incredibly things that you can find there, like a car, buried car in the middle of the forest. So for me, it's a whole world. This to work with. In a way, I'm working with nature, no? And in this sense, for me, it is interesting to show you this work. That is my reading about it. Also, for example, there is something like the language of the flowers. I was thinking, like a floriografía. Floriography, I don't know how to say it in English. The language of the flowers.
Flowerography.
Flowerography.
Flowerographics.
Flowerographics. Yeah. They just, but they use this language in the Victorian age. Huh? So one flower has a special meaning, and they give it, for example, to the lover, and the white nenúfar means the oil. Huh? So there is like a secret thing in like that. But here it's like with the Raki thing is like all, yeah, it's like a more effective in a way. So my idea, because this also had an audio I did with a wheelbarrow, and a stick. So a friend, a musician friend, Floyd, direct me, and then I start to work and playing with the wheelbarrow. But unfortunately, she couldn't play. And my idea, anyway, when I was looking at it, was I'm reading the flower, and if you can help me collectively to read the buzzing or sing whatever you want, huh? Because maybe that is a forward step for me. So
You want the video?
yeah, I start the video. 1, 2, 3.
What you
So yeah.
Okay.
What, are you in the video now?
No, pongo yo el video. Yo lo voy a poner.
Sí, ponlo. You tell me when you start. Okay?
Yeah.
Dahlia. Iris. Nenúfar. Crisantemo. Anémona. Fucsia. Tamarisco. Sauce. Tulipán. Ulmaria. Hibisco. Mushrooms. Jasmine. Ali. Cala. Fungis. Mirto. Azulea. Ranánculo. Violeta. Girasol. Begonia. Narciso. Lirio. Cinia. Fárfara. camelia, diente de león, magnolia, gladiolo, jacinto, orquídea, margarita, peonía, yeah, so that is the first so that so that's about the garden. Hmm? Hmm. Well,
Can you tell us? I'm considering some people that don't know your previous work. How was your trajectory coming to? I remember your at least the first poetry of you that I knew about was when you write in the ¿cómo se dice las persianas? Carlos, ¿cómo se dice?
Blinds?
¿Cómo?
Blinds?
Yeah, the blinds.
Uh-huh.
The first poem that I remember of Tomás was the poems that he wrote in the blinds, the windows. He wrote them with a scripto pencil with different colors. And I mean, from the beginning, at least the work I knew was very related to the materiality of the letters, the surface that you use. But then you've been working a lot in different kind of surface and moving more into like visual arts and whatever. So can you tell us more about how did you began to be interested in this combination of organic materials and your own writing?
yes, really. Because this, I remember this trazar con voz that was with the colors too. Hmm? And the color was the color was like appearance. Huh? So something like I think the accident. So I discovered that the accident you are not it's like a mask you say for mascara, no? So it's like a mask. So with a mask I can say I can say more. So then I start to use this color or maybe as a protection. Then the blind curtain is related to the same thing that you are in this surface and sink, and at that time I start to use these recycling things, you know. So I found that that blind, and I wrote over there. A few months ago in Valparaiso, I did the same with the vulcanitas, this construction material, and right over there. So it's not very different, I think. And the writing, it has been it has been present as a methodology, I think, or a form of composition. Huh? So I always I've been with the line. Huh? So this structure, even when I did the exhibition with the mushroom, I did the mushroom as a form of the writing. So like so it's a classical writing in that way. And the materiality is important because surprised me, the effect that can have. For example, I put the mushroom, and then when I lifted, the spools were there, so there was something else. So the materiality in this sense is good. In the word very abstract words always. So this contrast between uh, uh, abstract and concrete thing is like a good balance. Huh? I try to find, and I think it's yeah. Which I have this lyrics poetry book, but that is another story. Like a more.
So, Tomás, I was wondering if the materials you use somehow dictate how are you going to tackle the writing, or it's a separate process?
Yes, it's sometimes when there was a time that I used writing materialities. For example, lots of carbon papers, electronic stencils, and things like that. And then they were all together. Huh? So I had to create with this carbon paper and things, techniques to express a graphic thing, graphic xylography, graphic monography. So in a way, they were at the beginning monocopies, but then they start to be a sort of etchings too. So I did a lot of them. For example, I wrote a lot on the carbon paper, and then I scratched them with the tape, and after that I put it in a bigger surface, and then I scratch it again with something, and I pull out the tape, and then I have this. That was fantastic for me because always I was thinking at that time, how can I do a bigger format for the writer machine? Because always they are so small, always A4. So with this technique, I could do it bigger. But then I realized the letter was the same size. So I leave this because I left that because yeah, I need to find how to, but that is impossible to create the bigger letter. So you need the technology to print it, a different process.
In the piece that you showed us there, how did you choose the flowers? If that's what was.
Yeah, thank you. I like a flower, and I would like to be a florist, but I'm not. But when I was working, for example, well, it's a little bit of imagination. when I was walking, I found this flower. So this flower, I knew it was a blue vase in Oslo. But this blue vase, I don't know how it's called in Spanish. Anyway, the southern flower are different from the northern one, but I know the names of the Spanish. So I start to do it like just by imagination. Just by imagination, that part of the flower.
Mhm.
Not the rusty zinc, because that was with the I transferred the rusty zinc into the to the pages,
Mhm.
and then I did it that with salt and vinegar that they lose the pH, so you can transfer the zinc.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I was just interested because it seemed that yeah, there was the particular selection of flowers, and you were talking about the language of flowers in which each flower has a meaning. So I was wondering if you were using those sorts.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about that like the Victorian age, but that is like yeah, because I was thinking maybe lots of love poetry
Yeah.
with this flower with meaning, things like that, but
Yeah.
contemporary nowadays that is like nothing, no? It's I think this metaphoric thing is hmm, the death, the death of the
They're
in
dead,
a
but I
way.
wondered if they were historic, you know, if you were using some kind of yes, a dead metaphor, but its history. I mean, the history of it still exists, even if it
Yeah,
even if we don't use it. So that's another kind of materiality, isn't it? That I suppose the meaning that something did have and now doesn't.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
good to. I will think. I will think about that. How to integrate it? Huh? Really?
Well,
Because it's yeah, it's interesting, huh? How to deal with these different epochs.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then the objects were really intriguing as well, because yeah, so there's something about, I mean, when you were introducing it, you said that these are the flowers, and the flowers have this kind of language attached to them in some way, and then but then you're dealing also a lot with waste. I mean, things that have been thrown away, with rubbish. So it's not
Yeah,
that they're rusty things, they're particularly things that are out of place, that don't have any meaning because they're in the wrong place, that you know, and that's why they were. So there seemed to be a, what I was seeing in that piece, there was something about a language or a coherence, or yeah, choices of words, and then this idea of how we categorize things that are waste or things that are valuable. And I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's right. Hmm? That's right. Yeah. Thank you for your comments. Hmm?
But I don't know. Yeah, were you thinking particularly of rubbish? Would you just like the
Uh,
plastic?
hmm. No, I don't. No, no, I don't think it's I don't think it's a rabbit. It's just. It's a. I was thinking more in something like it's forgotten, huh?
Okay.
In oblivion, in that kind of a solitude, huh?
Yeah.
So, for example, you enter in an abandoned abandoned in a house that the people have left
Mm.
forever, and you enter 3 years later and you find like old grove and something like that, that is in a way amuse me, but on the other, there is this kind of, so it's something like that.
So that would be interesting because then you've got the associations of the flowers are also something that's forgotten, and then yeah, so there's like the dead meanings of the flowers, and then the forgotten bits of machinery.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, in that context, we know, for example, one of the biggest business is the flowers. You know, so they sell a lot of flower everywhere, and it's one of the big industries over there in Colombia. It's a big case of exploitation. They pay very badly. So there is a there is a they are not forgotten in that way, but they are forgotten in its place, huh? Like more than in the industry flower.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there is a difference between industry and field, huh? A field of flower.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's really interesting in the science of evolution that we don't know really well where flowers came from. There is not like connection in the evolution theory, you know, of a species, and also they have that tribe in the south of Yucatan in Guatemala, el pueblo Lacandón. It's a kind of tribe, and they think that the gods came from flowers, and you know, in a moment was the right flower from the sky and like virus and install them into us, and we are like they're not connection with other things. And there is a philosopher, Charles Fourier, a philosopher like socialist from punk, a beautiful poet. He thought that flowers have colors that only animals can perceive in a way. And it's like the lion can perceive the color of the kind of flowers, and we have to prepare ourselves to perceive another kind of colors in our experience. You know? And that I feel you in that kind of connection with silence and words of you, and I tried to make a little bee around. I don't know if it was making, but and why are you searching now, Adams?
Searching.
Yeah, your rehearsal. What did your alchemia, personal alchemia now?
Personal alchemia. Um,
Your
well,
own personal
I'm
Jesus,
personal.
like the sun. Who is your own personal Jesus?
My own personal. Uh, this is mm, no something.
Mm.
That is
Can I
that,
say something?
yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking that like we know Tomás from the very very old times, and it's really great to see you like making lots of different languages from color to fruits and mushrooms and things from the sea and like but I was thinking just now, I never thought about this before, but I was thinking of this idea of the imprint, because it's not really about flowers only, because I've seen you like smashing like we did a residency, and then Tomas came and joined us in near Oslo. Well, we were not in Oslo, where were we? I don't know, whatever, somewhere in Norway. But then you were like smashing berries, and then I've seen you also like smashing like different mushrooms and different, you know, nature things, and always this like printing of the thing itself. And I find that really interesting in a way. Like I was thinking more like in the language of performance art. Like for example, when like, I don't know, Yves Klein does these like blue bodies. So these people are painted in blue and you actually print the person. Or maybe more contemporary, like Franco B, this artist here, and he takes his own blood and he imprints his own body. And I actually, it got me thinking that it's quite interesting, this idea of the language, of creating a language that is an imprint of the object itself in a way. And I think that's quite, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I was just thinking of this comparison between, I don't know, not only talking about mushrooms, but actually transferring all the spores. And that is the language, or like smashing all the berries, and that is the language. And there is no a language that talks about them, but it's the trace of themselves, and that is a language. I think that's really beautiful in your work.
It's like a dactylar language, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to extract the language of the things through its own materiality.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really interesting. But
Yeah,
in the first place, I thought about the precarious like sculptures of Cecilia Vicuña, but then I thought more about like what Zoe was saying, like a kind of like poetics of the garbage, but not the garbage itself, because there are things that you are repurposing in a way, like giving them a new life, right?
Second
also,
choice.
right, but it also has to do with temporality, like you were saying about the flowers. Flowers are ephemeral in a way that when you pick up flowers, like to give to somebody, those flowers they die like pretty quick, and they turn into something else that has a different beauty and also a different form, shape, colors. And I don't know, I was just trying to remember also like the printing you were showing us before, and thinking about like that hidden language in things, or how can we extract that alphabet. I don't know.
I want to say something because I missed the hello Thomas. I missed the presentation, but I look at it later. But well, I recall a funny anecdote that happened once you read one of your very short poems at Foro de Escritores, and Clemente Padín, the concrete poet, was there, and he said, "Too many words." And you read something that was like 5 lines. But more importantly, I remember when you first came to Foro Escritores and presented your work, and I wanted to link it to what Luna said. It wasn't sort of computer printed or typewritten, it was drawn. And we saw that, and we realized that it worked perfectly, but it had to be reproduced just like it was written, with different colors, trazar con voz. So that was the second volume of Foro de Escritores, I think right after the first one. And so I wonder, how do you relate to color, really? Because it seems to be very important from the very beginning, and to hear that is a personal sort of, I mean, the poems would work in print, but they were enhanced by you writing them with script, I think, or some color sort of filters.
Yes. And I remembered you gave me a copy of Ernest Jungle CD. Ernest Jungle, a sound poet. Yeah. Jungle in the jungle. You're right. So you were educating me in all this. But the color, the colors. because someone else asked me that question before, and I was thinking this last time about the color in my poetry, and I think this was because the color helped me to cover the meaning in a way, because finally the meaning was I saying was maybe so abstract, so this extra layer or things like that uh, help me to even to distract you, huh? For what I was saying. So now I understand in that way, but that is my personal reading, because I was thinking in I'm so insecure and things like that. So I related directly to that, like a mask. Huh? People with a mask can say a lot of things. Huh? If I put a mask now, no. So this color, in a way, works like that. It's almost an strategy. It's a strategy. Because they were used by, but also there was some, they helped me to write a lot. For example, I believe that the words make the topic. Then the letter makes the words. So every word, I need time for every letter, and the color, they choose the color thinking on the letter, make me more time to choose the following letter. So then I create the word with the color. So the color also have this function, no, to create the word, because it gave me lots of time, no? In between the words and things like that. So it was like a thinking space too. Too complicated?
No, very interesting.
And related to that, I was thinking, I mean, this is like, ¿qué fue primero, el huevo o la gallina? But in which I have the idea, but I'm not sure. That's what I'm asking you. That many times you first choose your materials, or the paper, or the flowers, or the earth, or whatever, and then the words. But I'm not sure if it's like that or it's the other way. How is that relationship between meaning and materiality, which in your case is really well united?
Okay, if you excuse me, I'm very naive, so I have a naive access to reality. Then I'm in front of I'm in front. That's why I'm like more like a child, and Luna said that in a way. That, for example, I found the mushroom. Then I have curiosity about the mushroom. I go and I want to touch it. I want to be in contact with it. So then I start to see. Then, for example, in the mushroom, I saw one spoor print over other mushrooms. So then I will take this mushroom. Then, for example, I found the rusty zinc. I will put the mushroom over the rusty zinc. So and then I start to create the shapes. So that is a little bit like the colors, no? That they they are steps to create the final work, but I don't have the concept or the idea I want to communicate this. For example, I can create after all the concept. I'm doing this schools because we relate the mushroom to the fallow, and the people pick them in the forest, and with this school you don't know they are mushrooms, and they lose meaning, and blah 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 blah. Hmm?
Valencayampa.
Vale, so, claro. So
Yeah.
finally, is,
Let's leave that to the curators, all that discourse and
Inoculators.
inoculators.
they are the creators, and yeah, I'm very interested because I can take this contact with them. And in a way, it's like a second chance because, for example, the painter, the old painter was painting the nature perfectly well with the atril, ¿cómo se dice? Atril with this scene, no? And then the painter started to paint the nature with the defects and disintegration, or all these things. And now the poet enter with the nature. So it's creating, creating with it. Creating with it.
It reminds me of what we were talking about last week with Eugenio Tiselli, and he was talking about the trees writing, grass writing, the writing of the non-human world, and that it's shifting something away from the human control over things. And I enjoyed that conversation with you last week as well. So
Yeah, it's fantastic. You see, bueno, Luna has worked also more than me with multi-species, no? That is referred to that topic, how to take contact with and do they have a video about that, no?
Yeah, multi-species online. Offline, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, in my case, it's really I feel it is a curiosity, and how they can give more that we see. That is the point, because they give much more. And sometimes we walk and we don't stop. Uh, The other day I watched a documentary about an octopus.
Yeah.
So my master the octopus.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I like so much because the guy was every day to the same place. So I agree with this idea to go always to the same place, because then you can start to know how does it work, the or how is life, the change, the all the transformation, all this. So that is fascinating. Really. Yeah, for me. I like the documentary, because also I used to do that, to go to the same place to look at something, at some nest or thing. So you realize about the transformation and movement. Huh? Then, for example, I don't know if I really say, he didn't want to escape the sharks because it's the function of the nature. Or, I don't know if I agree with that, but other topic, another conversation.
Did you say you were going to show 2 videos? Did you say you were going to show 2 videos?
2 videos, yeah.
Let's
And
see
then
the other one.
Yeah, the other one is yeah, the other one is a collaboration. Yeah, that one I present is more about my relation with graphic and nature and things like that. And this one is more graphic. It's not a video. It's a presentation of the images with the sound. And this one was a collaboration I did with my friend Floyd Crouch. So with Floyd, we did Kundalini yoga, and then yeah, and I like at that moment the Kundalini poem with the rules, the Elbe Sekunder, the Elbe Sekunder, and also, yeah, and then the A, O, So she said, I don't like that part. She said, I don't feel good. So, and then, okay, we'll do it. First, just after that, just and just and then I feel more comfortable. And then with the together, we realize this like a third sound appear in between. So it was so beautiful. So we had to record this. And then she knows very well. She knows very well about the recording, and we did the session, and we did the A, the O, and the M, and then the breathing too. It said the breathing is important. So like. Yeah, and then afterwards, I create my graphic. I showed you my graphic version of this. That was in the typewriting, writing many O, writing many in Elbert 11 seconds. Because there were 11 seconds in Kundalini poem. So 11 seconds. Without stopping. Trying to keep that rhythm. And then I think I thought on you, like you are involved with sound, that maybe was it's interesting to hear. We'll see. We'll see. Hi, Martín.
Ay, qué bueno, Chirumillano, te pasaste. Dejaste todas las providencias tomadas. Sí. Y un café
Is
con
that
leche. veo que te estás-
muted? Yeah.
Luis,
Martín Gávez en directo, aquí radio,
Eh,
Radio Language is a Virus, Martín Gávez
¿Qué
conectándose.
tal?
Oh, yeah.
Tomás Browne was asking you about the invoking you, the picture of Martin.
Yeah. We were working. We were talking about the relation between graphic and nature, Martin, but we have talked together
Te
about
quedas
that.
pegado todo el rato.
Mm.
Como el Loli y medio, sí.
Y mañana tengo a las 9 una...
Martín, acá,
No, que no,
Martín.
Yo traje el modem. Tenemos que comprarle minutos nomás.
We saw the other. And
Una reunión por Zoom que no sé.
Llegaron las
Sí, que
abejas.
te acabo de
Welcome to the bees.
decir
someone
que
of
traje el modem.
Tomás, let's see your video.
Does someone of you have a yeah?
I will show the screen.
Okay. Not a video, it's a presentation of the images with the sound. You see. But you have to put the sound, huh? Mm.
Okay, sorry. Now I will start it again. I'm a horrible DJ. I couldn't find the window. Now, there you go.
No, it's so soft. When I can't hear. Can't hear, but because I think there was the track was on the video and doesn't work well in that way. But to make an idea.
Yeah. Maybe I can just show you very quickly, if you can hear it better, some of the audios. Just for
But the typewriting is beautiful.
you hear it.
Yeah.
It was like very long notes in same note.
Yeah, but also visually, it's a lovely piece.
Oh,
It's really nice visually.
Yeah. So yeah, so I don't know how it worked, but this one was on the opposite way, because I don't know, for example, if Henry Chopin made first the graphic sync and then the sound part, or Bob Cohen made first the graphic and then the sound, or vice versa. I don't know. But in this case, was first the sound and then the graphic. And it's, yeah, there is something to investigate, because someone read from the words or from the images, but in this case, I was reading the voice. So that for me also it's interesting. I don't know how is the experience with you, if you in general write first and then read the poems. I mean the sound poetry, or when it have a graphic support.
And do you have for example, do you have sound poems that don't have like a visual part, like in score? or your vocal works are like versions of a visual work first?
My, to be honest, I don't have too much. I'm not consider myself a sound poet, nothing like that, and it's my relation always has been in collaboration with musicians, not by myself. So always has been like they did the music and I did the graphic side, and that's why it has been like in the opposite. Because and when I do my graphic work, I'm not thinking in reading like sound thing. Maybe for art, but not me. So my in that respect, I yeah. Mm. That's why also it's so important the collaboration, no? To collaborate with others, because I have access to that. Or for example, when I was in that residency with Luna and Adrian, I was in the house of Jens Bjørnebue. Jens Bjørnebue was an anarchist poet and writer, Norwegian. And then they had the access to the house of him, and
We had the keys together.
a kiss, a big kiss. You remember this side? This side, there was an old style house, fashion Norwegian house, and we take out the forks and a spoon and all this all things from Bjørnebue.
All his objects. Yeah.
These objects, and we do some rhythms. We did, and I enjoyed so much in this playing with this. No? But,
That was beautiful. I think Language is a Virus. One day we can do a fork and spoon jam.
forks and spoons and things like that. Very, mm, mm.
I really liked that last piece a lot, even though I didn't hear it very well. And right, one of the things I really liked about it was the images were really sort of forceful, very strong images, but the sound and the voice had this kind of fragility to it. But within the fragility, something very strong. And similar to the first thing you showed, where the images were, very forceful in some ways, even though they were of this delicate nature. And what you were verbalizing was quite small, quite slight, but within that, a lot of strength. And I like that dynamic of kind of fragility and strength. Anyway.
I like your comment. I like your comment. Yeah, I'm the fragility of I'm Spanish in Norwegian in English. I'm like a brown snail, such a snail. But I would like to leave a bright a print. That the snail is leaving the bright thing. Yeah, it's a, but always for example, my voice from the school has been something different from the others. No? We say, so why do you talk like that? Hmm? I don't know, because I had so many languages problem when I was child. My mother told me I learned to talk when I was 5 years old, but my mom always exaggerated. And then I was very, my voice is something that concerned me a lot. Huh? Now, when I'm in Norway, for example, anyway, so when I'm in Chile, for example, I'm not, they don't, they say you are a foreigner person, huh? Say, foreign person. But if I'm here, I'm a Chilean, huh? So there is something with the, something very beyond the voice, no? Beyond the tone of the voice or something like that. I can't change my voice. For example, my social the people know my social status because my voice, or I know the social status because the voice. I can't change that. For example, I can't leave my long hair, uh, uh, use rags and things like that, but my voice can't change. So there is something, the voice and the identity thing is something like interesting me a lot. Now at this moment. And I think because I have been, how they treat my voice in Chile, where I'm from, and how they treat my voice here. So it's like where from something like a voice and identity is a very strong topic.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I liked it a lot. You got a good voice.
And people say that, for example, the other, when I was doing a residence and I worked with the mushroom, and the director said to me, you should read the mushroom with your voice, not doing it, don't do it the graphic thing, because your voice is by itself is like so. No, thank you for your compliment, I said.
What are you working on now?
Now I'm working as a gardener. I'm very, very happy working as a gardener full time, but now it's winter. They are soft days. So, for example, now we are putting, setting stones for the flower bed, construction side of the gardening that I like a lot. And to be a gardener is like to be an artist too. So I'm very happy.
Did you read the book, the Dark Vagabonds of Jack Kerouac, when he go into the forest to and start to name the clouds and all the things around?
I read the City Mexico Blues, which is a very impressive book because all is all right. All the like this dialectic with the all the contraries they meet, and all will be fine. And I like so much that that book. Yes, but also I'm working, I start to help a friend that is making a library in Renca, so she needs like an script for, for a little library I want to put on the trees, in the trees. So I have that in mind. Also, here I in touch with a galleries to exhibit some work, but now all that is like a dying, no? So with the corona thing, I don't know what will happen with galleries and things like that. Anyway, before was important for me because I had to sell to live because, but now I'm working as a gardener, I'm earning well, so I don't need it anymore. Mm.
I like very much the idea that you start with a curiosity just and the naivety and curiosity, and then start building up from there. And that's one thing I like very much. And the other thing, what you just said about the voice and identity, because that's something I experienced myself, that it's so, yeah, it's really so important for the identity, but it's also so fragile with the voice, of course. And and also with language. Very often we talk about the power of language, but more often I see it's not so powerful as you think, because we're struggling with language all the time to try to say what we want to say, and it's so difficult to say what we want to say, and so we have to find maybe other ways, some visual ways or acoustic ways, and even sound poetry, I think, in some ways is trying to speak the unspeakable somehow. And yeah, so this is really interesting, especially the identity part of the voice. And in some ways, actually, you can change the voice. It's not that the voice doesn't change in your life. As I understand you, your voice has changed from your childhood somehow. Yeah, and it will probably change, and that's something I experience very much. My voice is changing as I get older, and it's changing every day. Like one day it's like this, and the other day it's like this, and in the morning it's different than evening. So, and of course, depending on the social context, it's changing too. And so it's also interesting what you say about this cultural thing, so that the voice is something different in different places, your voice. And that's really interesting to me. And there's one other thing which is not really related, but it just reminded me that a good friend of mine from Berlin, Gabi Schaffner, she's a radio artist, and one of her features is she has a garden, and she used this garden as a radio station, and she calls it a garden in the air. So she has this international radio project. She has this international radio projects in Berlin. So I might send you a link of that. Maybe you would be interested in that.
Yes, okay. Yes, and it's true about that the voice and identity, that the voice get older, for example, and if I go every day with you, your voice is changing, but in a superficial, if we look superficially to it, it's like it's not changed. Superficial, yeah.
You can still recognize it, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's like a fingerprint.
because the society, for the society, it's different for you or with your best friend or something like that, or with your mom when you are hearing to your mom, to your dad, or something like that, with brothers, sisters, etc. Friends, yeah, I agree. You notice they are changing. Huh? There's,
I think it only changes on the outside. You know how like if you hear your recording of yourself, it's very different from how you hear when you talk out loud to yourself, like I am now. And I think among during your whole life, your voice, in a sense, sounds the same to you, but it evolves, just like your bones and body evolves. So to the outside, it'll change to how people hear you, but to yourself, it always sounds the same. I think. I don't know.
yeah, that's right.
Not sure about that part. It doesn't sound the
No, I
same
know.
to
It
me.
actually, I'm actually disagreeing with you, Dirk. But that's what it seems like to me. But I don't know.
Because your personality is also developing, and so it can change with that too. You know, you can have a completely different perception of your own voice. And what I find when I'm doing workshops sometimes, especially with young people, and what I find that they have a very different idea of their own voice than people that hear them. So their own idea what they would sound like to others is really completely different to what it actually sounds like to others.
But I think that's what Chris is saying, that what we hear from our voice is different from what other people hear, because we also hear it internally and then hear it from the air as well. But that's a very interesting point, that we always sound the same to ourselves, just because maybe we're focusing on what we are saying rather than paying a full attention to the sound of our voices. So we might, when you said so, Chris, I thought yes, I think I always sound the same, whereas obviously not.
Yeah, but I think like with that it's very movable somehow, like it's very changeable. Like if I don't feel very good, then I speak much higher, or I don't know, if whatever. I think it changes also, like in the morning or in the night. Also, I'm a smoker, which is terrible, but I noticed that my voice is lower than it used to be like 5 years ago, and probably before as well. And I think like, yeah, it's very changeable. I think it's very organic, the voice, in a way.
Yeah.
But I also agree that, like, for example, when you work with people and you record voices, I think no one, when you record somebody for first time, everybody feels totally like foreign to what they're hearing, which is their voice. When you hear the recording of it, it's always like really weird. It's like really not you or something. It's like some alien that is speaking back to you from this recorder. It's really strange. And I don't know, maybe actually it's the technology. Maybe actually it doesn't sound like you. I don't know.
There is a discussion about that in that book, Noise, Water, Meat by Douglas Kahn, where he says that it's not that our voice sounds the same to us, but it's very real and present because it has an echo.
Yeah, like resonance.
Of a resonance that has to do with the scope. So when we hear a recording of ourselves, we hear what comes out of our mouths, not is moving inside. So it's not that it doesn't change, but it is very present and real, and it's the model of what's actually existing, like in time and.
Is there someone who thinks they sound better in a recording than they sound to themselves?
I think that's a
because
great
I think everybody's very disappointed.
I think I sound awful, but my consolation is that everyone thinks the same. I don't think anyone likes it.
Nobody likes.
I think it's a great question because I think nobody likes the sound of their recorded voice. It's like really weird. Like, I don't know.
Well,
I
in
never
the beginning,
met anybody who said, "Oh, I sound great." No.
Except the psychotic people that they found They only found when that kind of affects transformation, only answer about their own experience with their voice.
Actually, I
People
always
who have
like.
multiple voices,
Yeah.
they can pick between them, which are their favorites. Maybe it's a matter of disappointment, because I mean you're used to, this voice you're always listening to. You're kind of like you identify as your own, but when you hear it, and not many people has the chance to listen to its own voice recorded. So it's not something you have to you can face like on a daily basis. So maybe it's just that, it's just disappointment, or like the strangeness, not be able to recognize yourself in that, which I think it's also interesting, but it's the same voice as Andres was saying, it's just a matter of like resonance. It's the same wave that you're kind of emitting outside, but you receive it in a different way. Yourself and the rest are receiving in a totally different way. So it's the same, but with a different layer, something like that.
I just
I was
wonder if
just
there is
wondering if
this.
it's like just ideas of self in a way, because like you have the thing with the voice, but you also have this with video. Like when you video people, show them the video, often they also like kind of there is a rejection that is you. Like it's also really weird. I think it also works with your visual, like with your physical image and the visualization of what you are. Even though you have a mirror and you look at yourself and you hear yourself, I think there is always this like otherness of the other imprint. I mean, we were talking before about this idea of the imprint of your body or whatever, but I think there is this otherness that, I don't know, that you make a distance between yourself and this thing that is you are told is you're filmed and recorded, but it just seems foreign somehow. It's quite strange.
Yeah, I was thinking before, I was thinking like that, the way that you hear your voice, the recording of your voice, it's a bit like when you see yourself, but not in a mirror, because you get used to seeing your mirror image. And then if you see a filmed image, it's not the same because it's not a mirror. And so it just looks wrong. It just doesn't look like you. And I think, yeah, I think there is something similar that goes on there. And I was also thinking that when Thomas was talking about sort of moving between languages and places, I think there's definitely yes, some. Well, I don't know. I mean, you're all so much better at other languages than I am. But the language I speak most is French, and I have very different degrees of inhabiting it. And sometimes I'm inside it, and sometimes I speak it and I'm not really inside it. And and it moves. The way that I live in other languages is very variable. Yeah. And so that's, and my voice, the ability to actually make sounds in other languages really changes depending on where I am.
And I think, Zoe, also, strangely enough, the image changes in different languages. How you look changes if you're speaking in different languages, because, of course, our facial muscles and expressions we make has a lot to do with the level of mastery we have in a language and the character we assume in that. So, yeah, I think you can look differently speaking different times.
Well, language is a muscular thing, right? I mean, in order to pronounce words, you have to move your mouth in a certain way, and the sound is made by the vibration of the chords. So it's everything about like movement and muscles, and yeah, that's really interesting as well.
I have a friend who always insists that she had the wrong shaped mouth to speak French. That was the reason she just.
Because my deaf cousin, he went one day here and he discovered that I couldn't move the upper lip. So that was he can read the lips. So I thought so slow, modulate. He said, I can't understand you, nothing. He said, why? You can understand my partner, huh? She speaks so quick, so that is it. Yeah, but you can't move this upper lip, huh? So I can't read you. And then I discovered something is with this. I tried to do some exercises, but then no, that's okay. It is fine. I will not do it. But yes, something like that. Yes, the story with this deaf cousin. Someday he arrived here in Oslo. I was living on the forest. He arrived by himself. I don't know how at midnight, and what was very noisy and this incredible. Incredible. I want to take the opportunity to read one of these very poems because the other thing I was I did this poem from the image. So I will find the image now. Oh. Okay. No, not here. Oh, I can't find the image because it's for me, but it's interesting because on the typewriter I start to blackberries, all these different blueberries, and they have the ink. So I put it on the tips of the typewriter, and then it tack, and they explode. Then there is an exploitation of berry in the page, and so beautiful. And I start to translate things to the language of the berries, things like that. And then, but when I get one, when I will read this, what the transferring of the exploitation. So that was interesting for me because exploitation is in exploitation also is related with abuse. So, for example, hand picking, they are the time open the hand, closing. So finally, they get arthritis very. And I start to do some poems about this, about the relation of exploitation and abuse. That is, for us, is the same word, no? And this is just because here I put compartir pantalla, but doesn't appear. But I will send you the image by chat when I finish, okay? And then this poem is
You should be able to share it. Well, let's try.
Okay, I will try. Because it's a presentation. Okay. Maybe now.
Maybe now.
Acá.
Right.
Yeah. So one of these is this. I need to open. Bueno, I have an idea. My poor old computer is collapsing with
The virus.
the virus.
It's got classic sound though.
Yeah. A ver now. Now. But it's not that one. It's not that one. I mistake. But now it's this one. This one. Okay, I will show you this one. I will read first, and then the other. I can read both. If you give me, yes, this one. So this one, I have it. Here. So I translate this to this normal word, and this is a hand picking. Uno is I open, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I. They are my hands, 10 fingers. I open, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I. They are my hands, 9 fingers. I open, then I plug, then I drop, then I open, then I close, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I. They are my hands, 8 fingers. I open, then I plug, then I close, then I open, then I drop, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I. They are my hands, 7 fingers. I open, then I close, then I open, then I plug, then I drop, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I. They are my hands, 6 fingers. I open, then I drop, then I plug, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I. They are my hands, 5 fingers. I plug, then I open, then I close, then I drop, then I plug, then I open, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I. They are my hands, 4 fingers. I plug, then I open, then I close, then I plug, then I open, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I close, then I. They are my hands, 3 fingers. I plug, then I open, then I drop, then I close, then I open, then I open, then I drop, then I open, then I plug, then I close, then I. They are my hands, 2 fingers. I plug, then I open, then I drop, then I plug, then I close, then I open, then I close, then I open, then I drop, then I close, then I close, then I close. It is my hand, 1 finger left. Y después el otro que quiero compartir. I was trying to show the tiredness, no, of this thing that, and finally and this one, that one was with the blueberries, and then I translate hand picking two. It said, first day, first hour, 3 kilos, $15. Second day, second hour, 2.5 kilos, $13. Third day, third hour, 2 kilos, $10. Fourth day, fourth hour, 1.5 kilos, $7. Fifth day, fifth hour, 1 kilo, $5. Sixth day, 6 hour, half kilo, $3. 7 day, 7 hour, 250 grams, $1. Second week, second day, second hour, 1.5 kilos, $7. Third week, third day, third hour, half kilo, $3. Fourth week, fourth day, fourth hour, 250 grams, $1. Second month, second week, second day, second hour, 250 grams, $1. Third month, third week, third day, third hour, 250 grams, $1. Fourth month, fourth week, fourth day, fourth hour, 100 grams. Do not afford money. Entonces ahí lose the thing. It's about to lose things. Thank you. And Gregorio Fontaine did a version of this for eight amplifiers. Huh? So I like so much that version because it's about that they are so many picking the thing and the voice are confusing. That was because Luna talked about this poem.
No, that's great, and it's great to know. I mean, they are kind of different of your poems written in Spanish. I mean, they're more like quick with more rhythm. I mean, it's very interesting that that you take different options in the different languages.
Right.
Well, guys, I told you that today I'm in the farm and I'm about to lose my Wi-Fi connection. So I wanted to propose that we make our classical improvisation at the end. So I don't know, Tomás, if you want to propose something, an idea, a procedure, whatever.
Well, some to go happy to the bed, we can do some Kundalini poem, for example.
I was thinking that since we didn't follow Tomás' instructions at the beginning and people got in late, we can replay the video and do the bossing thing that he initially suggested.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, huh?
Carlos, ¿te refieres al primero o al segundo?
Al primer video, al de las flores.
Primero que íbamos a hacer insectos, pues no pescamos.
Exactamente, yeah. We were supposed to do the
insects. Very disappointing.
This insecto, perdón.
Sorry, Tomás,
no,
we failed you.
Now make me happy. Make me happy.
Okay, now silence and start all together.
Let me, because I have to put my video aside because I have to read the flowers. Okay. No, I will not read the flower. I will be the bossy.
You are the flower.
The
flowers.
Everyone will do whatever you want. Huh?
Okay, here we go.
Sometimes I'm so distraction.
More concentration, please. Sweets.
We have 6 minutes to go to Bonn, right? Let's feel your heart, the connection between spirits.
Let me connect.
Mostrando sus pasaportes.
What vaccine you poison yourself? Chinese, Russian, European. Pfizer, whatever, Moderna, I see the great.
Menúfras. Dicen,
The best
¿cómo?
weapon for your vaccination.
Anémona.
Careful, China.
Vaya.
Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, 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 zoom.
Window beauty.
Ironía. Ironía.
Sweet under. White emerald. Little bird. Marigold.
Crisantemo.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Minutes more freedom.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Tomás, but the connection started failing just in the most important.
Thank you again. Thank you again for having me or hearing me. And it was fantastic for me. It was a great opportunity.
Oh, thanks very much to you, Tomás. It's always great to see how your work is expanding, like the plants in lots of directions.
Like mycorrhiza.
Yeah.
Take a look of that myth of Tribula Candón in the Mayas, Yucatan, south of, because all the expression of like God meanings o como explosiones divinas o místicas identificaciones vienen de las flores, que son, no es que o sea, las flores crearon a los dioses, no los dioses a las flores. Es como el huevo y la gallina que decía, es que los dioses vienen de las flores.
La flor o Dios.
Bonitos.
Claro, ¿qué está primero, las flores o los dioses? O el floro. Yes.
Well, and next week we'll have a Hannah Silva, and Zoe will be in charge of the session. So we are really now starting to be like a multinational enterprise.
Yeah. So she said she's really looking forward to it, but she couldn't.
Yeah. No,
it couldn't be here.
It will be great to have her here also.
Gracias, Tomás.
Gracias, Tomás.
Nos vemos.
Thank you. Thank you.
Un abrazo, Tomás. Qué bueno verte.
Gracias. Excelente. Gracias a verlos.
Saludos.
Un abrazo a todos.
Querido.
Ya ahí.
See you next Wednesday. So,
Ahí queda el jugo.
Coordinate. I don't forget you. I have the text in. I need a change of moon to finish in a way.
Change of moon. Great. Perfect.
But
Yeah.
believe in me, I'm with you.
Great session. Great session, everyone. Bye-bye. Take care. Stay safe.
Happy change of moon to everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Andrés, thank you.
Tomorrow, going to Prague.
See you next time. Bye-bye.